Welcome to another edition of TM3 Impact. Today, I have Mandy Smith, founder of Succession Title and Elevate Coaching. Mandy, welcome to TM3 Impact.
Thank you.
Well, let's dive in, Mandy. Let's dive in. I mean, we've known each other a long time. Like you can see here, I don't even have any questions because I've known you a long time. So we're just going to dive right in. Tell me your San Antonio story, Cliff Note version. How did you come to live in this amazing city?
Born and raised here. I went to Churchill High School and took off to Texas Tech and came right back because I'm such a family girl. I'm really, really close to my family.
Okay.
We have one of those, what I'm learning over the years just from meeting humans and leading and coaching, not a lot of people have a really tight family connection like my family. Me and my siblings, we don't fight.
Yeah.
We get along. We help each other. Super close with my family. I always thought I was going to go to Dallas.
Okay.
Because that's where all my friends from Lubbock, from Texas Tech were going.
Yeah.
But I couldn't leave my parents. So,
yeah. I totally get that. At one point, Christine and I looked at moving to Chicago. I got so intoxicated with that city. I just loved it. I mean, such an amazing city. Now, I'd never been there in the winter. So my wife's like, okay, you like it now, but the reality is the winter is not going to be good. Okay, so I want to go back because I always like to know, okay, Mandy, high school Mandy, dreams, visions. What was high school Mandy? Because you when I think back of high school Tomas, obviously I just like, oh, wow, I just clueless. I'm just curious. Tell me about high school Mandy and what was kind of going on. What were the dreams, aspirations?
So looking back, high school Mandy has always had some leadership skills in her.
Okay.
And I've always been this achiever that wanted to go and be and do and achieve. Like when I was going into high school, I tried out for freshman cheerleader, and all my friends have been in tumbling and all this stuff for so long, and my family didn't have extra money for that type of stuff. Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna try out for cheerleader my freshman year.
And you had never been a cheerleader?
No, never. I was in 8th grade at with elementary school.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna try out. And so you go and you try out in front of all the high school, and you're not even a high schooler yet. And part of the dance and the cheer is you have to do a back handspring. And I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. And so they're like, well, you have to do a forward roll. And I was like, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Everyone's going to be doing a back handspring. Can't I just pretend? They're like, no, you need to do a forward roll. So I was the only one who did a forward roll, and I made it. I just tried out and I made it.
Wow.
Yeah. And
never been a cheer.
No.
That's hysterical. I did not know that. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. I bet you learned how to do that later though.
Well,
I would imagine.
High school Mandy, my parents went through like a hard time. They were apart for a little bit of a time when I was in high school, and they got remarried when I was a senior.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All my friends went. It was at La Villita downtown, and it was so fun. And so, so I didn't have a lot of mentorship during that time.
Okay.
So they didn't watch my grades. And I was like, oh, you got to pass this to get this. And I had to go to, I couldn't get my life fully together. I was all about my friends. And so I was like, wait, I don't think I even have the money to go to that class or the time. Who's going to take me? And then my grades weren't there. So I didn't have all the tools that my children have now, the twins and Sloan, to succeed. I could have been who knows what I could have been. But it did shape me.
It shaped you. So think back on that time, because obviously, it sounds like, the money was an issue, right? Like resources were an issue. So how were you able to compensate? What were you able to do, and what happened as a result of that in those early years?
Well, I was, everyone liked to hang out with me. I was like the girl that lived in the 1-bedroom apartment over here in Deerfield. Yeah. All my friends lived in Bluffview. That used to be like the spot. Yeah. And everyone liked to take me everywhere. Like we have some friends of Sloan's that we take. They travel with us. They go to the lake with us. I was that friend. They just all wanted to take me places. And so I lived this really fantastic life.
Yeah.
So I knew that there was more, but I knew that my family didn't have it.
Interesting. Did that kind of set the stage for like the aspirations of what you want to do in college?
Absolutely. I knew that it was possible, but I didn't know how I was going to get there.
Ah, okay.
And so when we all graduated, it's not like these days where everyone's like talking about where they're going to go, because we didn't have social media back then. We didn't even have the internet back then. And so you would hear these people were going to college, and then a lot of people were staying here to work.
Yeah.
Well, I started dating a boy from Madison.
Okay.
And so I was working and going to San Antonio College.
Where were you working at?
I was working at Outback Steakhouse.
Okay. I love it.
Because I've been working since
right
I
off
was
of 281. I know exactly
Yeah.
which one you worked at. Yeah.
And so in high school, I would work. So I've been working a long
Waiter?
time.
Were you a waitress? Yeah.
Yes.
It's the best job ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone always laughs. They're like, "Have you ever been broke?" I'm like, "I've never been broke in my whole life. I know like how to go work hard and make money." And
Yeah.
I'd go find fine dining restaurant when I was young. Like, where can I work and pick up the shifts?
Yep.
But I just knew there was a better life, and I can just go work and go get it. And so when I met this guy, we went to SAC, and he said, "We need to go off to college." And I was like, "Yeah, but how?" Because I didn't even know some of my friends were going off.
Okay.
And so we figured it out.
You're just like,
We
where
filled
did
out
you
the
decide?
paperwork,
You were
got
going to go
loans,
Texas Tech?
Yeah, got grants, got loans, and took off to Texas Tech.
Wow.
And so all through Texas Tech, I paid for all my rent, my bills, my everything. My parents couldn't.
Right.
They couldn't.
Right.
And so that's where I gained the life skills there to totally take care of myself.
Yeah.
That I can go to school and work and always have money in my pocket. All my friends were always broke all the time. And I was like, "I'm going to work a double today. I'll meet y'all tonight." And I'm the one that would show up with stack of money. "Hey, I'll buy a shot."
And when you're a waitress, when you're a waiter, you always have cash. That was the
Always.
best part.
Yes.
Now it's got to be different because, so many businesses are cashless now.
Right.
And most restaurants, I would imagine, probably, I don't even know if they take cash. Because I can't think of the last time I paid cash at a restaurant, right? Very rarely do you ever leave cash tips. That's got to be, devastating, because I always had cash in my pocket, which was nice. It was nice. Okay, so tell me about, I'm always curious, because this idea, the Mandy I know is always wanting and is striving and wanting to make things better, help other people, like really. And so where did that start from mom and dad, from the aspirational Mandy? Where did that begin, and who was that biggest influence for you in that area?
I would say that it was Keller Williams Realty was the name, I guess.
Yeah.
Not one person. I got into the industry. Next year is going to be 20 years. I was like, I think I'm going to throw myself a 20-year party.
Yes, you do.
Because wow, what a 20 years.
Yeah.
And I learned about coaching, about recruit, all their classes. I used to go with them because the brokers were like, "Come in here, come do these classes, come network with these agents."
Okay.
And I just went through the classes, and then I got myself a coach. And it just started to transform my life. So it's been almost 2 decades that I've been coached. I've been a coach for 10 years, for a decade. It's just transformed my life. So no one's really ever asked me that.
Yeah.
I would say Keller Williams Realty, and just being with those thinkers and the trainers, and doing bold. Do you know what bold is?
Bold.
I'm
Oh,
bold.
yeah. I
I'm
know
bold
bold.
8 times. That's a lot of times. And so it's just through that, and then just following the practices, getting coaches over the years. And I've been coached by the Tony Robbins organization for over a decade.
Wow.
And that's really transformed me. And then that really turned into when I was a leader at these large title companies, these corporations, they make me a leader. I'm like, well, what do I do? I'm like, I'm going to teach them what I learned. So I started to, instead of just taking it in, to pour it out on others and just make curriculum and teach others. And that was because I worked for someone. And then this past almost a decade, I've been a business owner for 7 years, and with starting my coaching business around the same time, it's just made me want to help people, because I'm like, I didn't know. And and then I would teach my mom, and she was like, Mandy, these are the exact same principles as I teach you in the Bible. It's start thanking God for things as if they're already happening. Write it down specific, so you know when it happens, you can give him the glory to say, look, I wrote it down. So it's like, they're telling me to write this down. She's telling me over the years to do this. So I kind of just put it all together. And I know how to make things happen in my life. I know how to get progress in my life, and I know how to be careful for what I want because I know what it's going to take to get there. And it's just so beautiful. And so the people who choose to invest in themselves and coach with me, or choose to come be in my circle and work with me, and our circles that we have, I mean, just have great conversations like this.
No, that's really cool. So wait, but so in college, did you have, like, go back to, because I imagine the Keller Williams, that happened after you got back from Texas Tech, right? Okay, so during that college period, what was the motivating factor for you to be like, okay, I'm going to pay for this, I'm going to have money, I'm going to make sure I get my, pay for tuition? What was driving that aspect? Because had anybody in your family graduated from college at that point?
No, I was the first to graduate from college.
You were the first in your family? No, nobody. Okay, so that's interesting to me, right? So like, what was driving you, and what was, because it's so easy to get sidetracked when no one else in your family has done it. So give you a quick example. Like my father, when I was 22, I saw my dad cross the stage and get his degree. He was the first one in his family, and he was 42 years old when he got his degree.
Wow.
And I saw him walk the stage. I don't think I've ever said this on a podcast. And it was like, that's cool. Like, I was in school at the time. I wanted to graduate, but that was like, okay, now it's like, okay, now I have to graduate. You know what I mean? It's like, I saw my dad walk across stage. So what was that motivation for you? Because you're doing it on your own, what drove you?
So, as you know, we live life forward, but we understand it backwards.
Okay.
Now looking back, God he created this part of me where when I want to do something, I succeed at it. And if I fall down and get a scrape, I put a Band-Aid on it, or I cry for a little bit and I get back up. I just have this tenacity and this never give up attitude that when I want something, I go after it and I get it. But these days, as I just had a milestone birthday, when I said earlier, be careful, like, what is it that I really want? I don't want to like prove anything to anybody. I already proved I know I can do what I want to do. But what's going to make me happy? What's going to make my nervous system happy? Because that little achiever over the years, I've had to spend the past decade healing her, showing her how to heal her nervous system, showing her that she is enough, showing her to look back how far she's come, instead of looking how far I haven't been yet. And so I like my journey, but I just was born with that and I got it.
I didn't know where'd it come from? Did it mom, dad?
My work. It's really my work ethic. If you put one word, then I get it from my mom.
Your mom.
Work ethic.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. So then you graduate. What was your degree?
Human Development and Family Studies. I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist.
Get out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. So the next piece would have been going to get your counseling degree, right? Would you have to do your master's, or did you do your master's?
I could have been a counselor. And that didn't pay enough. I was like, whoa, I didn't know to check how much that paid.
You didn't look.
I was making more money waiting tables. I mean,
seriously.
I can make like $1,000 a week back then. Picking up shifts and back-to-backs. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do now? And then I was going to have to go get my master's, and I didn't have any money for master's. The loan bills were coming in, and I had to like get to work.
Do you remember what the total amount of your loans when you got out? Do you remember your total?
25 something.
25,000? Yeah. That was probably right around where mine was, right? And then I did go back and get my master's. It went up a little bit. But do you remember the day you paid them off?
Yes.
I remember that day.
I was working for David Earl.
Wow.
I was working for David Earl. I got a big commission check, and I was like, bam. It was like $20,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, gone.
And that was like,
I didn't pay all that off because I was 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 years, it didn't pay off very much. And so when
Yeah.
I got it, I was like, I'm going to pay that off.
Yeah, that's one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come back from school, you decide, okay, I'm not going to be a counselor. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So you immediately how did you get even in the world of real estate to even know about Keller Williams Bold, right? The Bold class. How did that connection all start for you to even get in real estate?
So I was telling the team, I got into title specifically over a poker game.
What?
Yeah. I was in medical sales. I sold sports medicine rehab, and I thought it was going to be like this glamorous job and I was going to make so much money, and I hated the job.
Yeah.
I hated it. And I went to a poker game and I was like, anyone have any whiskey around here? And they're like, whoa, Mandy's drinking all whiskey.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we would play with like an electrician, a realtor, a doctor. It was just a big, diverse group. I was stay-at-home mom, like a really cool group.
Yeah. This was this back in the day when everybody was doing tournaments, or these cash games, tournament games.
Tournaments, and when you get knocked out, you get cash game on the side.
Of course.
And so this is before Sloan, and then this guy was like Shane Tokheim.
It was Shane.
Yeah.
He was at the poker game.
Yeah.
Oh my
he goes, you would do so good at my job. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, come on.
You're like, what do you do, Shane?
Yeah. And he's like, just come on. And I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I sell title. And I was like, I am a college graduate. I paid for my degree myself. I'm not selling flooring.
Yeah.
He's like,
That's funny. That's funny.
He's like, it's not that. Just come meet my boss.
Yeah.
And so I worked for Fidelity National Title. Was my first job.
And who was it?
Title.
Brian? Was Brian his boss at that time?
Oh no, Brian was. We were all counterparts.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Brian was selling. He was a rep
commercial.
as well.
Yeah,
he was
he was a
commercial.
rep.
Okay, yeah.
So Michael Bossart was the president then, and he. It was a great meeting. I worked for them, and I didn't know what title insurance was for 6 months.
So you just dove right in.
They told me, here's what you do. Go out with realtors, go build relationships. This is what we have to offer them, and follow up, and this is how you get paid. You get contracts in, and I just did it. And then, because I didn't know, Ronnie, my ex-husband, already had a home when I married him, so I didn't know the home buying process.
Right.
I didn't know what title insurance was.
Right.
So, and then I figured it out.
Yeah. So what was that first year like in that business? Obviously, you're coming out of medical sales, and you're like, I don't like this, and now you're jumping into this. You enjoyed it. Okay.
I really loved meeting different people, learning about them and their backgrounds, and I'm a people person.
Yeah.
So
It's such a people job, right? Like very much title is very similar to what we do with Luxury Home Magazine, right? But it's all about meeting people and solving problems.
Yes.
Right? You're solving a problem. They need title insurance. You're solving a problem. Okay, so what point did you go to Bold then? Was it that first year?
No, I didn't go to Bold till I worked at First American. No, with David Earl.
With David Earl.
Because David Earl was real big about investing into the business, and corporate, they're not going to do that. They're like, go out there, sell. We're not going to invest in stuff like that.
Which is always interesting to me, right? That's always interesting to me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand
So David
that.
Earl was like, do what you got to do. Go be in the right circles. I'll pay for you to do that. I'll pay for you to do that. I was like, okay.
And how did you and David Earl meet? I don't know that story.
2008 hit, and when I worked at Fidelity, and the market was going down.
Yeah.
And I went back to medical sales because the sales manager was like, I don't know if it's going to work here. I'm like, I didn't know the market here.
Yeah.
And so I always say that I got fired, even though I didn't get fired, but I knew I was going to. And my old boss was calling me like, please come back. And I was like, I'm going to go jump on this boat.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, I was thoroughly depressed. I was like, why did I go backwards? And then the market got better in 2009. And I met David Earl through through Mike Pilgrim, my ex-brother-in-law. And I said, can I come work for you? After we met, I was like, can I just come straight commission? Because I don't know if I'm going to be successful or not. And I don't want to get fired from you.
Yeah.
But
So you offered to work straight for commission?
Yeah, well, because Ronnie, my ex-husband, was like, just define what's going to make you happy. We were newly married. And I was like, oh, thanks. It was nice to be able to try to find my groove.
Yeah.
I was only 28. And it just took off from there.
Yeah.
It did. Took off. Oh my gosh.
It did.
It took off from there.
Well, here's where our stories collide, right? So I'm at an open house, and my magazine has not come out yet. Like I don't have a magazine, but I was at Mike Finley's house. He was selling it, and it was Kimberly Howell was listing the property, and they were having just a walkthrough, like a broker open. I don't know how I got into this, but I got in, and I was able to go. And I'm walking around, and I'm like the blackjack dealer of my business cards. I'm like, hey, I'm luxury magazine. Hey, I'm luxury magazine. And finally, I meet Cynthia Lee. And I said, Cynthia, you have to be in my magazine. We need to talk. And the first words out of her mouth, she looked at me and she goes, Tomas, you need to meet Mandy. And I go, okay, what's her phone number? She gave me your phone number. And I think I called you probably 4 or 5 times. I called, we were talking. And then we finally met, I think it was at Komori. Do you remember that? I think that was the first place that we met. We went to Komori, which we were just there just the other day, right by it, by First Watch. But, and when we met at that point, there was no Luxury Home Magazine in San Antonio. It didn't even exist. And I remember we had lunch, we talked, and you go, you need to meet David. And do you remember that meeting when we met? We were at that massive conference
table.
And I remember he sat down. I was here. You were there. He sat down and he goes, all right, tell me what you got. And I was pitching like, you guys need to be the back cover. This is going to be the best thing. And he looked at me. He looked at you. And all I remember is him going, Mandy, what do you think? And do you remember that meeting?
Yes.
Well, do you remember what you said? What did you tell him? It's all a blur because the only thing I remember is him going, yeah, I think we'll do the back cover. And I literally had an outer body experience. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I could not believe that they were actually going to do the back cover because that's one of the hardest parts of the magazine to sell at that point when it's brand new.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me your interpretation of that and that our first meeting and then, of course, meeting with Dave.
So when he first met me, he was like, hey, you got what it takes to... He first trying to get me into being a lobbyist. He's like, I think you could be a lobbyist, because he's an attorney. And then he's like, you got what it takes to succeed in whatever you want to do. I'm like, yeah, I got this. Like, come on. And he's like, okay, here's a gas card and here's a credit card. And I'll give you this huge commission. It was like big commission.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he's like, and no base salary? I'm like, nope. I just want to like eat what I kill and I want to be a value. I don't want to be a strain on you. Well, little did I know he was a very wealthy man. I didn't know at the time. So he was smart about relationships and investing in relationships and building and marketing and trainings. And he trusted me. And so there's a few things that I put in front of him and he would be like, what do you think? And I'm like, this is going to take off.
Yeah.
I really know it's going to take off. And this magazine is going to be on every coffee table of this demographic. And we went through all the demographics of where the Luxury Home Magazine is located. And I was like, and then your law firm, because I was selling him on it too, then your law firm, your name's going to be everywhere. So I was trying to kind of feed on his ego too. I was like, hey, it's going to do all these great things. And he was like, done. What's next? What else do we need to do? So he just like gave me the keys to his kingdom.
Wow.
And he trusted me because I was already showing results. Because he was like, man, I didn't know the title company could do this. I've had it for this many years and it hasn't really been doing much. It would give an extra few, thousands here and there. He's like, but look what you're doing. And so he was letting me spend the money that I was making for the business. Because he has, he had a lot of great stuff going on and he would help me.
Yeah.
He would go on appointments with me. We'd have some cool lunches with some top agents and the conversations were just different at those meetings than they are with any normal title rep going to say, how's your business?
Right.
It was really good. So yeah.
And how quickly were y'all able to grow that? Because it was like when we met. How long had you been with David Earl at that point?
That was
in 2011.
Yeah, 2 years.
Oh, so it'd been 2 years up to that point. So you're at that point. Y'all it was successful. It was rolling really well, right? Interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought it was longer than that.
Yep.
It's because y'all were on the back cover all the way up until the merger with First American.
And then
correct?
we got them to take it over.
And then they took it over. Yeah. That's really, really interesting. So now, what do you think was the difference maker when you think about your success with David Earl in Tidal? Because you had been in Tidal a little bit before that. What was the difference maker? Obviously, the market changed because in 2011, 2012, right, it started to get better. But what do you think was the difference that you were making, that you were learning, that helped you be a success early on?
His leadership and empowerment, and he wasn't jealous of me.
Interesting. Yeah.
He was already successful, and so he was like, heck yeah, I'll get this big check.
Yeah. It didn't bother him.
No, he was happy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And which leads back to the idea, right? When you have great leaders,
they're happy for your success.
They want
to
you.
help
Yes.
you. And when they're
Yes.
already successful, like I was talking with my team and just sharing the vision of where we're going. Like my next level of success is making other millionaires in Tidal, because God is no respecter of persons. What he's done for me, he can do for anyone else if they want to do their part.
Yeah.
And so that was him. He is already successful, and he was like, cool, let's do that. And it was fun for him doing a different type of business within his same industry, because he was, real estate attorney, land developer. He's done some fantastic things in the city. But it was fun for him.
Yeah, I bet he was almost like getting to live through this new venture with someone that was like, let's go. Let's go to the moon.
Yeah. And I'm setting up the meetings, taking him along with me, picking him up, and he's just like,
That's super cool. Okay, so what year did you go to Bold first then?
2009.
Okay, so you did it in 9. Interesting. Because it's changed since 9. I mean, it's definitely evolved since 2009 as well.
And the last time I took it was 6 years ago when I first started my company.
Okay. And so what would you say to, let's talk about that, just personal development, right? Because I started reading personal development books while I was a teacher. So I was teaching and I was reading these John Maxwell books, and it was just, the 21 Laws of Leadership, and I'm reading, teamwork and all these different books. But at that point, the direct correlation to growing a business, or I was a teacher, So what was it about personal development? At what point did you go, okay, I've got to improve myself, and what was the catalyst for that? And at what point do you remember, like you said, it was that Bold class was the first kind of moment. Was there anything prior to that about personal development?
No, I went into those classes with the objective of getting in the right circle so I could meet the right people, so I could pick up the right business.
Okay.
And then I started paying attention. And then I was doing the practices because it was very interesting. And then I got in a point in my career, my circle that I hung out with, I was a small fish and they had a lot of cool stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to use those practices that they taught me to brainwash myself to do these things. So I didn't know what I was getting into, but God knew what I was getting into. And it just transformed me from the circles I was in and how I was thinking.
Interesting. And what would you say prior to Bold, Mandy's thinking, and then after Bold, Mandy's thinking? Once you'd gone through that first one, what do you think was the biggest transformational part of your mind?
My morning routine, my evening routine, how I handled my car rides. I mean...
It was a lot, it sounds like.
Before like Bold and, personal development, I would get up, I don't even know how many minutes before I had to leave, and do my makeup, like just get out the door, and I'd either be listening to Christian one day or rap, depending like how I was feeling. And I was just going through the motions. Then I would go to happy hour with my friends after work. And I was just being this 20-year-old and, late 20s. And when I discovered like it's all about how I'm setting up my evening to have a good morning, to get my head right, I was like, this is really cool. And so I just started listening to podcasts and tapes and CDs. And I would I use Traffic University to just grow my brain as I'd go. I barely listen to music still to this day, which it's my goal to do that more.
Yeah.
I just started doing my mornings a lot different.
Which is a big change, because the morning is where you set the stage for the whole day, right? Like that's how you set your whole mood. It sets the direction for your day. Yeah, absolutely. That's a big one.
Because I was hanging out with people who were already doing that, who'd been in Bold, and they were, been through Bold a few times. And so when we'd have coffee, these conversations were like, what are you doing in the morning? Or I'm doing the, 66-day challenge. I'm doing this. So I was like, I want to do this stuff too. And it was a rapport building with them too. And I wanted to do it. I wasn't doing it because I wanted to be like them. I really wanted to be like them. I wanted to do it.
Yeah. And you wanted to grow, right? I mean, it's all about growth. Okay. So then you go, what was the next class? Was it Tony Robbins? When did you go to your first UPW? It would have been after 2009.
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first one, talk about that. Your first UPW, Unleash the Power.
At Unleash the Power Within in 2013, I was able to learn how to break my limiting beliefs and literally turn them around and use them as my superpower. I learned how to run towards fear and dance with it, and it's transformed my life. And a lot of people, when they see it online, they're like, oh, that's just raw jump. Yeah, it is. We are getting into state. We are jumping. We are doing it. He's not telling us what to do. He's guiding us through these exercises that literally shock your nervous system and change your way of thinking, brainwashing yourself for the good with your own dreams, aspirations, and killing those limiting beliefs.
What do you think was your biggest limiting belief when you went there that first time?
I'm sure probably something to do with success and like money. Like, I'll never have this, or it's going to be too hard to get this. Something like that. Yeah.
I think my coming out of being a teacher, the first real like training that I'd ever been to really was John Maxwell, when I went to the John Maxwell training.
I remember you called me when you got back and you're like, Mandy, you have to do this. And I did. I literally got on that day. I was like, sign up, I'm going.
Yeah, you're like, I already signed up. I'm good. I'm going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
It was so good. I'm going to get just what we were talking about, our children. I'm going to add that to that list. Like,
I think it's one of those certifications that could really, it's like you said, it's transformative, right? Like it's really transformative. So for me, that whole personal journey was started with his books, right? I was doing it with his books, but I didn't have like a direction with it. Like, how do I, you know what I mean? Like UPW can kind of give you a direction, right? Yeah. And then John Maxwell can kind of like, it's like another little push in that direction. And so that was one of my first big, forays into it. And then that led to going to I went to John Maxwell. I think I went 4 times. Because I went the year you went, because you went that next year, right? After that. So I went to subsequent years. I did 4 years with that, and it was amazing, Yeah. And then, you start reading different books. You start growing. Your mind starts expanding. I think of it as an expansion. Like when you think of personal development for you and you're looking at your team or you're looking at your friends or family, how do you describe, because it's hard for people to understand the power of personal development. I don't know if you've noticed this, but right? It's really difficult for people to understand. So how do you help people understand it better?
I have tried to force people to understand it.
Okay, I like that.
And then I've come to the point where I'm like, why wouldn't you? Like, I have frameworks here. I will teach you how to get exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I'll help you get into massive action. I'll help you get into progress, which is the best feeling. Even on the way to when you finally get the goal, you're going to be over it and ready for the next.
Right.
And then I would beat my head against the wall with certain people close to my life. I'm like, but all you got to do is this and this. And then I would meet with realtors and I would help them in their business and they wouldn't follow through. And then my mom, she was a really good student and I was a student with her too. We would coach each other and we would have our quarterly coffee and we would plan, we would do all this stuff and we would follow through. And one day she told me, I was beating my head. I'm like, why won't people do this? Why won't they improve their life? And she said, enough of the freebies with your family and your friends and the realtors. Enough.
Yeah.
You're doing a disservice to them, Mandy. Why do you think that you have what you have? I'm like, I don't know. I did the work. Yeah. How'd you end up doing the work? How'd you do this? I worked hard so I can afford to go to the conferences, to hire a coach, to invest in myself. And she's like, and how much return have you gotten? I'm like, oh, so much.
Yeah.
She said, you were robbing these realtors, your friends and your family by coaching them for free. They need to pay up because when they pay attention. They follow through. Trust me, I don't miss my coaching call. I know how many hundreds of dollars it is. Sometimes she's nice if I'm like a little over 24 hours. I'm like, I really can't. Can we move it to this? Yeah. But when you pay attention.
That's so good. Yep. And your mom told you this.
And I was like, what do you mean? I'm with some of my clients, I'm just going to say stop. She said, just tell them, hey, let's go for another 4 weeks and then you can be free and I can be free. And if you ever want a 4-week session to get a little zhuzh, get your business back on track, give them 4 weeks of accountability and let them be free. Yeah. And then she said, enough with your family, enough with the friends. If they want to, let them contact you back for it. But you're beating your head against the wall trying to help people. Yeah. And it's been so freeing.
That's very freeing, right? That is very, very freeing. And at that point, did you feel like, because there is a part of this coaching that we do want to do for free, right? Like, I mean, you feel that. I feel that.
I feel so good to help people get clarity on where they're at. Where do you want to be and help guide them and show them the path and then hold them accountable. And then when they miss the mark, like we always do, to say, okay, how did we get tripped up there? What can we do to tweak it? And that's what you do. You just tweak it along the way. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think part of that personal development journey is you're going to need that guide. You're going to need that example, because without it, you kind of can start to wander. You could kind of start to drift, and having that little bit of an example is so critical. So what was who was that guiding? It sounds like mom was a big part of that. And who else was a big part of like kind of keeping you in that mindset of growing and moving forward?
Everyone I hung out with. Yeah. We were all into it. We were all doing boot camps. We were boxing together early in the morning.
That's right.
It's like this group. We were all in, and we all had like pretty cool lives and working on, the areas that we were low on certain times. None of us had perfect lives, but it was just a cool flow season. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they say, right, your network is your net worth, yes. Right? Who you hang around with. And I totally believe that, right? Like that's a big part of our growth. It's you seeing other people grow makes you want to grow. Yes. It pushes you out of your comfort zone, right? So like what's the next big, so we've got your Elevate coaching, we've got Succession Title. When you're thinking into 2026, what is kind of your idea for Luxury Home Magazine? We have a word. Our word moving into 2026 is dominate. That's our word.
I love it. Strong.
Yeah. Strong word. Before that, it was illuminate, and then it was elevate, and then it was growth. And so now we're going into 2026 with this idea. We're recreating our entire media kit. We're recreating, and just the word that keeps coming out is dominate. So what is your focal point moving into 2026?
So dominate is a theme I've had for years that is no longer a desire for me and my businesses right now. It's empowerment. That's the word that came to my heart, is really empowering my team to grow the business, to be a mini David Earl.
Yeah. Ah, interesting. Full circle. Have you said that before?
No.
That's full circle moment.
I want to empower them, give them the tools that they need, help them go recruit, help them maintain, and just grow. So succession title will be in every major market in Texas, but it's not going to be because of the founder, Mandy Smith.
Yeah.
It's going to be because of other people that I'm going to empower. Just like when I worked for First American, they empowered me as well. They empowered me to do the things, make the decisions that I needed to do to get the growth that they had. And I want to do that, and I want to make it sustainable for whoever does it.
Yeah.
So we all grow together. I'm not looking to, money is not important to me. I'm not saying, because I have so much. It's just not, it's not important.
That's the driver.
My family, my time, my health, my vitality, my wellness, time with people who, like my middle school friends took me to Las Vegas for my 50th birthday.
Okay.
They're business owners. They have kids in softball, baseball, traveling. Like, that is a rich life for me.
Yeah.
And so a rich life for me is what I want, while I help these other people get that second home, get that second car, pay off that student loan debt.
Yeah.
So I want to do that for others now.
I love it.
I want the business to grow. We're looking into all areas of our software that we can start implementing AI.
Okay.
Because if you're not implementing AI into your business, you will get left behind.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be that person, that company. And I'm really excited to see what God has next. There's just like this surrender that I have, that I'm just guided lately. And it feels very good. It doesn't feel uncomfortable like I'm growing. It just feels very good and different. And I'm just like, what is God up to right now?
Yeah.
But there's going to be some growth, and it's not going to be from these little muscles here.
Yeah.
It's going to be through others, and I'm going to help them.
I will. It's interesting you say that, right? Like the empowerment in the mini David Earl. What a full circle moment, right? I think that empowerment is critical, and that's really where the word that I think is expansion. That's the word that I'm almost right. Like this, there's this expansion. You know, it's not going to be expansion through physical push. It's going to be expansion through the empowerment of your people, right?
Yes.
And I love that. That's really, really cool.
Yes.
That's really, really cool. Let's talk about the coaching. What's next for coaching and moving into 2026?
So
Elevate coaching
has evolved into business owners.
Okay. Yeah.
People who I can really relate and help with.
Okay.
Like, really, we're talking organizational health, operational health, revenue gen, financials, culture, looking at the percentages of where your numbers need to be for profit, for payroll. I mean, I geek out on business. Like, I got to where I am through my business development skills and sales skills, but I don't really like it.
Yeah.
I don't like business development anymore. When I get in the groove, I'm like, it just comes out because that's who I am.
Yeah.
But when I sit down with a group of business owners and we are talking business, we're talking leadership, we're talking financials, we're talking about just all that stuff, I love it.
Yeah.
And so that brings me joy. Don't get me wrong. It does bring me joy to help mentor somebody who doesn't know about personal development. If somebody called me and they wanted to know about personal development, and I was like, hey, we'll have like 4 coffees.
Yeah.
You're my mentee, I'm your mentor, and let me teach you how to be a good mentee. I need you to report back to me to tell me that you're getting some progress and some results, because that's what makes a mentor want to do more for their mentee.
Yeah.
And so I'll mentor a young person or anybody who doesn't know personal development, but a business owner who is ready to become a true owner and not an operator, and can get out of their own way and stop being the bottleneck in their business, empower, coach, and train, elevate their team. I mean, I could just ramble on about that. I'm a very, very good coach when it goes to that. I've been through it.
Yeah.
And I'm going through it. I get sucked back in. I know how to get my head back on straight. I know how to put the blinders up to when I feel that overwhelm coming on. I know how to cancel some appointments, put my phone away, tell me the assistants and the team, hey, I'm working on a project. I don't have to tell them I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And truly live in that business owner state.
Yeah.
When I get people to do that and their lives are impacted, that is what really lights me up these days.
Yeah. That's the flow. That's that flow state. I love that. I love that. So I was having this conversation literally last night with an agent because I feel like this is where realtors need the biggest help. They really need to understand and operate their real estate world as a business. And for a lot of them, it's really, I get the sense that it's really difficult for them to think of it as a business. They just think they're their salesperson, right? And they're just kind of like, but they don't think in terms of it like from a business standpoint of knowing your numbers, knowing your profitability, knowing, okay, where am I at in my business right now? And I think that if agents could really, if there was a way to really help them fully dive into that, I think that's the big coaching perspective that agents need to learn. They have a business.
So I have a framework that I share with agents when I think it's the right time to share with them and they contact me. I'm not going to contact an agent like, hey, I'm going to coach you. And it's weird now that sometimes when I call an agent that doesn't know Mandy Pilgrim, they're like, you're the owner of the company calling to go to lunch. So I can't do business development. It's hard. It's hard and it's weird for people. They're like, you're the owner. Why would you do this? So I do that. And when I do that and they follow through, I'm like, good job. Yeah. But I'm not going to ask them to hire me as their coach. I tell them, go find someone, you know what to do. Go find someone that's going to hold you accountable. Because like my husband's like, why do you have a coach for this? Why do you have, I have a coach, my Tony Robbins coach. And then I have Dr. Rose. She's out of Austin. She helps me regulate my nervous system. Yeah. She's taught me how to regulate my nervous system. I go see her every 2 weeks. Yeah. Just breathing, breath work, the whole shebang. Yeah. And then just like right now, I just hired a trainer to get back in the gym because I want to hire a professional to get me in my progress. Yep. I just need to start getting progress and then I can rock and roll. And my husband or people who are smart in my life, they're like, well, why don't you just do what you say you're going to do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, sorry, I'm not like you. So a lot of realtors, they know what to do.
Yeah.
And they have people who around them are doing it, but they're not following through and they need to invest in a coach or an accountability coach that will help them follow through.
Yep.
Because when you pay attention and you follow through, but when I'm not going to go to the gym. I wasn't going to the gym consistently. If I didn't have my Tony Robbins coach, I wouldn't be making some of the big moves that I'm doing in my business.
Yeah. No, it's I look back on that and I go, okay, there are people who I call that are internally motivated, and then there are people who are externally motivated, right? And the internally motivated people are kind of like I think of like for my wife Christina. She's always been very internally motivated, and I would come and I learned this, and she's like, oh, that's cute. You know what I mean? Like, I read this, right? So this is probably Adam.
Yep.
He's very internally, like he has the drive. He's just going to go do it, right? Yep. This is Christina. This is my buddy Wes, very internally motivated. And then you have some people that are externally motivated, right? Where there's something on the outside that will push us. That's just me, right? There's a program or a class. And what I found is that there are periods of time where I will go from in between. I'll go from being internally, and there's something internally that just, for instance, last year, we had 3 people that resigned from Luxury Home Magazine. Like that, just like in literally a matter of 3 weeks.
I remember I talked to you that day. You're like, Mandy, guess what?
Right? Yeah.
I'm like, guess what? Guess what? Me.
You remember we had that, and I remember sitting there like something welled up inside of me, and I go, we're about to do something special.
Yeah.
And I told you, I was like, and I dove back into sales. I dove back into it. And then of course we've got some amazing new people. And I remember sitting there going, well, we're going to break the record. And we did it last issue, 148 pages.
Oh, congratulations.
Right?
That's so awesome.
So now we're talking a year and a half later from that moment. We're now almost a year and a half later, and we have this massive record. Like the whole year, we broke the record for the most revenue that we've ever done this year. And so I sit back and I go, okay, that was a period of time where I was very internally motivated because I had something. There's some external that kind of caused it, but it was still internal because it was pushing me, right? Yeah. But I do think that there are people that need that external. They need that guide. They need that person to come alongside them. So coaching is a big part of that. It really is. Okay, number one book, Mandy. What's the number one book you give away to everybody? When you're like, you got to read this book.
I bought a big stack of, there's a few. I mean, these days I send screenshots. Like, you got to get this book. You got to get this book. But the most recent one in this season of my life is that I share with a lot of people is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Oh.
It just goes very well with my personality that has transformed. My husband says, you're an introvert now, and I like it. And I said, I am. He's like, you are so calm. And I said, I am, and I feel it. So through the investment of myself to learn how to heal my nervous system, how to get into, get in and out of fight or flight in the right time, how to jump into masculine when I need to do that, and then how to get out and back into feminine where I didn't know there was a feminine and masculine because I've just been in masculine since I was young to get and go and push. And this book was recommended to me, and it just went beautifully. I mean, I used to haul ass from appointment to appointment. I wouldn't give myself any middle time, recovery time to get to the next appointment. I would walk fast even when I wasn't in a rush. I was like, and I was intense. I used to be very, very intense.
Of course.
And now I'm very intentional and I don't put a lot of pressure on people. I help them think. And they put pressure on themselves. And that's the beauty of coaching. Because I coach people. I coach Sloan. I coach Adam. I coach so many people, they don't even know what I'm doing to them. Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, that's a great idea. I'm like, yeah. Or what are your options? What's this? What's one more option? Could this? I'm like, oh, can I offer one? That one? Oh, which one do you think? And then boop, they figured it out themselves. Yeah.
That's the part that we learned at John Maxwell, I feel like. Don't you feel like that way? That we learned a lot of that from John Maxwell, from the inquiry-based coaching? And then obviously, what else helped you in that area? Was there any other training that you went to that helped in that area of asking great questions?
I would binge out on YouTube on my mentors, and I had online virtual mentors, and I would literally binge out on their work, and I would implement it.
What were the names? What were some of the names that you really liked listening to?
So, most of them were, I would binge out on Tony Robbins and John Maxwell and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy, and I would practice it on my teams. Yeah. And I'd get the results. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that one. Or, oh, I don't like that one. That didn't bring me joy. Yeah. So I would just learn and implement. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I'm gonna have to get this book.
Oh, that book is beautiful. You will still kick butt in business. You will still get as many things done, but it just trains you to just calm down, slow down, and just be living a purposeful life. Yeah. It's not zenned out or anything, but it's just the ruthless elimination of hurry. It's so good.
I love that. I also wrote down the intense versus intentional. Right? Like, if you were to break that down in this new phase of Mandy, right? This evolution, how would you best break that down? Intense, because that's a whole class in itself.
Yeah. So I used to, whenever we would sit down, I'm like, hey, what's going on? How's business going? Hey, what's your focus for this quarter? What was your goal this year? How far are you here? What are you going to like? I was very intense of asking questions, and like, it would put a lot of pressure on people. Like, whew, Mandy's intense. She really made me think. And then now I'm more like, how are you? What really like brings you joy? And tell me about your rhythm in a week. Like, what are you doing? And like, how are, holistically, in every area of your life versus like business, business, business. And I just feel calm. And when you have that energy, people can feel the calm versus that intense.
Yeah.
In the way you ask the questions, your tonality, your body language, the pitch of the way that you speak. And so I'd rather someone leave me feeling like I was a breath of fresh air rather than like, whoa, she's intense, but man, she made me think.
Yeah.
I don't want that anymore, which
Yeah.
I can get there and I can do that. And some people need that. They
Yes.
need a little shake into their nervous system
Yes.
of like, come on, buddy, what do you want? And why aren't you doing it? Like, come on. And then, but most people need some compassion,
Yeah.
some love, and to let them know, like, you're not the only one going through it. You're not the only one who feels stressed. You're not the only one who lives the teenager life. There's just a lot of people don't admit the hard that they go through. They put up this, everything's okay.
Yeah.
And when I can be vulnerable with whoever I'm with too, it allows them to be vulnerable. And then they'll walk away and they're like, you were such a breath of fresh air. And I'm like, oh, I wrote that down 10 years ago when I was intense, that someone was going to call me a breath of fresh air. And I really am not trying. I really am. And because I feel it, I can feel it in my nervous system.
Yeah.
And that book will make your nervous system feel so good. And people are going to be like, oh, you're just like different.
Yeah. I love that. I almost think of it too with my son, because I can, my wife will say that, you just come across intense and like, just kind of like, how's this going?
Yeah.
How did this go? And it made me just stop for a second and go, or when he's asking me questions, it's like, do you need intense dad or do you need intentional dad? Which dad do you need today? I think that's important. Like even with our employees, do you need this intention? Do you need intentional? And what's
do you need a hug?
Yeah. Or just, do you just need a hug? Right. Like, absolutely. I love that. All right. So we have a new tradition on the show.
Uh-oh.
The new tradition is Diary of a CEO. Have you seen this podcast?
No,
You
I've heard of it though.
will love this
Okay.
podcast. Okay. Amazing. And what we do is you get to pick 2 cards. Okay. These are some of our last questions. But I'm going to take those out right there. And then the way it works is you're going to pick 2. Out of the 2, you get to answer the question, and then I'll get to answer the question.
Oh,
So we
okay.
both get to answer.
Perfect.
Okay. So pick any 2 of these cards. Hold on, here, we'll shuffle one more time. There you go. Pick any 2 cards, and then you get to pick which one you want to answer. Now, the really cool part of this is on the back of every of these cards, you scan this, is the clip on YouTube where someone answered that question.
Oh.
Super cool.
So what topic is one? Oh.
It's a good one. Yeah. Which one do you like best?
I think I like what topic is no one talking about now that historians will study in the future.
Ooh. That's a thinker right there.
That's a thinker. Hold
Yeah,
on.
that's a good. I like it.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
like it.
If you could be part of a brand or a company, past or present, which would it be and why?
Oh. Okay.
Gosh, this is so hard. Because the other day,
Yeah.
I was at a conference and they have these big, huge, like Oracle was there, all these women business CEOs. And I'm like, I could so have worked been a big, high, top level executive. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I like being business owner, but I think I'm more like God forced me into it for the right way so I
Yeah.
could be here now, which I love it now.
Yeah.
Not forced me, but evolved me into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this,
Okay.
because what topic is no one talking about now that historians will study in the future? I'm in teenage world, young adult world with kids. The twins are 20-year-olds in college, and Sloane's 15. She's going to be 16. I am just wondering, and someone might be like, oh, of course we're talking about this. But like, it is so easy to shine right now because everyone kind of is so lackadaisical. No, there's not a lot of hungry young kids out there. And I'm wondering what like social media and the world and people, what they see on social media, how it's going to affect what they're going to be like at my age.
Yeah.
If they're given too much and then they have social media. And just, there's not a lot of hard workers out there. And I feel like it's going down, 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 down. That's just where I am in my head right now. That the effects of what our world has gone through, the effects of social media, AI, and everything else that's coming, how it's going to affect our children in the future.
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind when I read that.
I would definitely agree because the effects of social media has been drastic. You know, I mean, even on us, right? Think about because we didn't grow up with it. I think people go, okay, yeah, people are talking about the effects, but they still get up and they feed their brain and they're looking at stuff that doesn't bring them joy and they're looking at stuff that upsets them and they're following things that they shouldn't be following and they're training their brain and their nervous system and they know better. Yeah. Yeah.
We know better.
That's the part.
Really
I wonder if we know better, right? Or is it the dopamine just kind of taking over and we just don't like we're almost like it's like an addiction, you know? And we just get addicted to it, right?
Yes, and the kids aren't awake.
Yeah.
Like I'm awake about this because I'm forcing myself to be awake because I don't want to feel certain ways that I feel when I get on social media.
Yeah.
I want to follow the right things. I want to follow that bring me joy. Yep, that's my answer.
Okay, you ready for this? This is one that I actually have a title for a book for.
Oh.
And I'm going to share it on the podcast. Somebody might steal it from here, right? A topic that no one's talking about that historians will study, I think is, I call it the retirement virus.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. So I came up with this because recently, last year, I would say before the summer of 2024, and if I go back before that summer, about a good 3 years, I had the retirement virus.
Oh my gosh, I forgot we talked about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the retirement virus is basically, you know, you get to this happens to business owners. You get to a certain place in your business where your business evolves, where you don't have to necessarily be in it. You can work on it. But then you get to this almost like it's like you distance yourself from it, and you start to almost live as if you're retired. And I did that for a good 3 years. Like I could work, you know, an hour to 2 hours a day. And I told Christina, I was like, you know, when Christina went on her journey for personal development, that just started last year for her.
Oh, wow.
Right? So her personal development journey, she was like, I'm going to go take this class. And I heard her on a call with the Grant Cardone sales guy. And I mean, he was trying to close her so hard, Mandy. I mean, he's like, hold on, my manager wants to talk to you. And I mean, they were trying hard. It was a $2,000 product, right? And so they finally get her to close. She starts, and I'm just looking at her. And at that point, I mean, the virus was strong in me. I had my schedule down. I didn't dress up. I didn't wear suits. I was, you know, and so what ended up happening is, she starts doing this training, and then she starts mentioning things to me. Now, I'm not in training personal development mode. I'm doing my journaling, I'm doing my reading, but I'm not in that full mode of like growth mode. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
And so I think this is going to be something, whether I write about it or somebody else writes about it, I think a lot of businesses get trapped in this retirement virus where they have a business, they're pretty much retired. They don't want to let go of the business because the business is an identity. The business is who they are. And they don't necessarily want to grow because growth would mean work.
Yes.
Right. And so I think there's this feeling of what business owners get trapped in. And one of my visions that as far as I see with my book is helping business owners catch fire internally again, so that they could step out of, they can have the antidote. And there is an antidote for the retirement virus, and that is casting a new vision. Right? You got to cast a new vision. Like, where are you going? What do you want to do? And so now, based on last year and everything we've been doing with Cardone, the vision has been cast. I now have a business coach who's walking me through for TM3. This is all for my speaking and coaching. He's now walking me through the vision and planning the vision of where I want to go, and not necessarily helping me plan the vision, but hey, here's what I'm thinking, and then talking me through that and what we need to do. It's been powerful.
I can so relate. I was going through that. I remember when you and I were talking about it, and there's been 2 defining moments in my career that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Is when Adam told me, my husband, that you're going to open your own title company. I'm like, no, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know what I want to do. And he's like, yeah, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And here's the list, get to work.
Yeah.
And it was like the hardest thing ever. And I'm like, I don't want to. And I always say as like a metaphor, like he pulled me up on my head, like, get up, come on, you're going to do it. And I've just been through some work trauma where I was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm so glad he did. And so most recently, I had the retirement virus as well, a year and a half or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, get up, come on, you got to get up. This is your baby. He's like, I'm burping my baby right now. You got to take care of your baby. Like, he's like, he's such a dad, with the twins.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't let your baby choke. You got to be out there. I'm like, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. I'm healing my nervous system.
Right.
I'm getting my workouts in the morning. And I just got brainwashed again by Tony. And he helped me, because I've been forcing and with grit, like, oh, I got to do it. I need to do it. He's right. Because Adam's going to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And so I was like doing it because I was trying to make Adam happy. And I was just being like, kind of like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
Now I get to do it.
You get to.
Tony Robbins did a great job of because Adam went in with his own limiting beliefs and his own just like beat down from the past 3 years in the market. And we came back full of fire. We are full of fire. We have our vision. We are holding each other accountable. I have my coach, and it's already happening. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, 2026, here we come.
Right?
Yeah, I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about that. And Mandy, thank you for being on TM3 Impact. Much success in 2026 and beyond. And thank you for being a part of Luxury Home Magazine.
You bet. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.